holiday season, and today's main reviews go back to the late 80s and early 90s with Ernest Saves Christmas from 1988 and Ernest Scared Stupid from 1991. For those who don't know, the Ernest films are all based around a character known as Ernest P. Worrell, who was originally a commercial mascot in the 80s for just about any product you could think of. And he was played by the late Jim Varney, who, outside the Ernest films, people probably know for as the voice of Slinky Dog in Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2. The commercials that feature the Ernest character were pretty funny, and while Jim Varney was pretty talented, just because something works in a 30-second short film doesn't mean it'll exactly work in a 90-minute feature-length movie. That being said, I don't think the Ernest character is terrible. There are some pretty hilarious scenes in both these movies. However, both films I consider to be pretty mixed bags. Ernest Saves Christmas I'm obviously reviewing because it's the Christmas season, and my thoughts? It's a harmless film, and actually is pretty sweet to watch. It's just full of the brim with Christmas, so anyone who likes the holiday I think will definitely enjoy it, and it's very family friendly, so anybody can watch it. I'll be honest, I did not watch the Ernest films until after I had turned 20, so I feel like they don't technically work for me on the same way they would have if I had seen them when I was little. However, I go back to the way I was when I was 10, and I feel if I had seen these movies back then, I would have just loved the shit out of them. And knowing just how many 90s generation people enjoyed these films when they were kids, I guess you could say these films were pretty successful in reaching their demographic. And despite starting to watch these movies at, I guess, too old an age, I really enjoyed Ernest Saves Christmas, and it's definitely on the list of films if I can't get to it, I will try to get to it every December, because it's just so much fun, and I guess I'm just someone who really gets into the Christmas season, especially with the movies. Although I want to point out an inaccuracy with Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest does not save Christmas in this movie. If anything, he almost destroys Christmas. Watch the film all the way through and pay attention. You'll see that Ernest did very little to actually save Christmas, and it's because of him in the last 10 minutes that Christmas is almost completely ruined. But despite that, it's still a ton of fun and just very touching. Like Bad Santa, it manages to be non-conventional, but still has a lot of heart, and that definitely makes it worth the watch in my opinion. Know what I mean? As for Ernest Scared Stupid, okay, I admit it's a little late to be talking about a Halloween-themed movie, but I don't know, I guess it just wouldn't feel right not having another Ernest movie to go with Ernest Saves Christmas. But what do I think about Ernest Scared Stupid? It's pretty clear that director John Cherry and the writers had stretched the Ernest character as far as he would go, as well as his sense of humor. Now, there are some pretty hilarious scenes in this movie, such as when Ernest closes a dumpster on his hand by accident, and he's like, "Ah!" That is fucking hilarious. As for the humor that doesn't work, I guess a big problem is Jim Varney just doesn't know when to take a rest. Now, I know good comedians, they keep the gags coming every second. However, a lot of the humor in this movie, while it can be funny, it's funny in small doses, and it just never knows when to take a break. And there's a lot of gross-out humor that I really could have done without. It didn't know when enough was enough. And I just don't get the same amount of heart with Scared Stupid as Saves Christmas had. It just feels very, aggressive and very tired. Even Jim Varney in this film almost looks like he realizes that he's taken this character as far as he can. Which makes it even sadder when you realize there were about half a dozen more sequels after this, just all direct to video. Ugh. Now that's scary. Are there any positives to Ernest Scared Stupid? Yes. Like I said, some of the slapstick and some of the jokes do work. They just get ruined by the next couple of gags that come afterwards, but when they do work, they do work. There's this great Benny Hill style chase in a treehouse that just have you holding your stomach. And the design work for the monsters in this children's monster film are actually pretty decent. And while it does nothing for me as an adult, I could definitely see some of these monster designs being scary in the eyes of kids. And the best thing about this movie that could really hook someone in is the opening credits, which is a montage of 1950s horror films. And if you're a big fan of old school horror as well as Mystery Science Theater 3000, you will definitely love the opening credits. There's this one comedy scene which I feel I have to mention before I end this review, is when Ernest tries to give this kid who's being bullied a pep talk. And he talks about a battle between Romans and some Asian culture, I think, and he puts on a persona for each individual person, whether it be man, woman, a Roman character, or an Asian character. And for each persona, he suddenly has a different costume, and he's in some kind of makeup. And we get the ironic, uncomfortable pleasure of seeing Jim Varney in yellowface, dressed up as some kind of Asian soldier. And I do think that part is funny, just because, wow, you could never do that today. But overall, it's a confusing mindfuck of a scene, where I feel most people will not be laughing, but rather just questioning what the fuck is going on. But those are my reviews. I really like Saves Christmas. I'll watch it again. I had a hard time sitting through Scared Stupid. I'm not sure I'd watch it again. But the Ernest films are definitely worth showing to your kids if you have any. I feel while grown adults may have a hard time getting into these movies if they didn't grow up with them, at heart these movies are made for 10-year-olds, and I feel like they will definitely please their intended audience.